Hi guys, welcome to Parents Journey. Today, we are talking about sibling rivalry. Do you got more than one kid in your house? Then you got a built-in competition. It's that constant bickering that he touched my stuff, she looked at me funny nonsense that drives you absolutely crazy. Why does it happen? Simple. Your kids are fighting for resources. I ain't just talking about the last cookie on the plate either. I'm talking about the most valuable resource in that house. You. Your time, your attention, your love. They're trying to get their fair share of the spotlight. Sometimes that means pushing their brother or sister right out of it. This whole rivalry thing ain't new. You'll see it crop up big time when that new baby comes home. Then you hit those toddler years and everything is mine. It continues right through the school age years when they start comparing grades, friends, who got the cooler pair of sneakers. Now I need you to hear me on this. Having your kids argue does not make you a bad parent. It makes you a normal parent. Every single family with more than one child goes through this. It's a natural part of them learning how to be people, how to negotiate, how to stand up for themselves. Think of your house as a training ground for the real world. So take a deep breath. You're not failing, it's just part of the job. All right, now, let's get down to business. You can't have a peaceful home without some non-negotiable rules. This is your house. You pay the bills, you get to set the law. You need to sit your kids down when everyone is calm and lay out the house rules for respect. Rule number 1, we don't use our hands to solve problems. No hitting, no pushing, no kicking, period. Rule number 2, we don't call each other ugly names. No stupid, no idiot, no I hate you. Words can hit harder than a fist. Those wounds last a long time. Once you set the rules, you gotta talk about the consequences, and you gotta stick to them. If the consequence for hitting is losing screen time for the rest of the day, then that's what happens. Every single time, no exceptions. Consistency is your best friend here. But it ain't all about punishment. You also have to teach them a better way. You gotta give them the words. When they're mad, instead of screaming, teach them to say, I'm feeling really angry right now because you took my toy without asking. That's a game changer right there. You're giving them a script. This is about building a culture of respect in your home. That starts with you. You and your partner have to model this stuff. Your kids are always watching. They see how you handle disagreements. Talk things through calmly. You are the standard. Live by that code yourself. Listen to me. When your kids start going at it, your first instinct is to jump right into the middle of the ring. You want to find out who started it. Who's right? Who's wrong? Stop right there. That's a trap. The minute you take a side, you've lost. You've just told one kid they're the good one and the other kid they're the bad one. That's only going to pour gasoline on the fire of their rivalry. Your job is not to be the judge or the jury. Your job is to be the neutral referee. Your only goal is to make sure everyone fights fair and that nobody gets hurt. When you hear the screaming start, take a deep breath before you run in. Don't come in hot. Walk in calm. Be the Switzerland of your living room. Your first words should be, whoa, it sounds like we have a big problem here. Let's talk about it. You're not accusing anyone. You're acknowledging the conflict and setting the stage for a solution. Don't get bogged down in the he said, she said. Who started it doesn't even matter. What matters is that it's happening and it needs to stop. Focus on the problem, not the people. Your role is to be a coach, helping them talk to each other. Give each kid a chance to speak without being interrupted. Say, okay, Timmy, you go first. Tell your sister how you're feeling. Sarah, your job right now is just to listen. You're not agreeing or disagreeing with either of them. You're just making sure they hear each other out. By staying neutral, you're teaching them you love them both equally. When they know you're not going to swoop in and solve it, they have to start working on a solution themselves. Stay out of the fight and guide them toward a truce. People respond to praise. It's true on the stage, it's true at work, and it's definitely true in your own home. You spend so much time breaking up fights that you forget to notice the good stuff. You have to start actively looking for moments when your kids are getting along. I mean, hunt for it. Did they play a game together for 5 minutes without arguing? Did one of them share a snack without being asked? Did the older one help the younger one tie their shoe? When you see it, you make a big deal out of it. A huge deal. Don't just say, good job. Be specific. Pull them aside and say, you know, I was watching you two build that Lego tower together. I loved how you were taking turns and sharing the pieces. That really made me proud. You two make a great team. When you do that, you're shining a spotlight on the exact behavior you want to see more of. Kids are smart. They will chase that praise. You can even create incentives for teamwork. Set up a teamwork jar. Every time you see them cooperating, solving a problem peacefully, or helping each other out, you drop a marble in the jar. When the jar is full, the whole family gets a reward. Maybe it's a pizza and movie night, a trip to the ice cream shop, or a family game night. This shifts their whole mindset. Suddenly, they have a common goal. You're not just stopping fights. You're actively building a friendship between them, one piece of praise at a time. This is one of the trickiest parts of being a parent. When do you charge in, and when do you hang back and let the kids handle it? It's a real balancing act. Here's a simple rule of thumb. If there's a threat of physical harm, you step in immediately. No hesitation. If someone is about to get hit, pushed down the stairs, have a toy thrown at their head, you intervene. Safety is always the number one priority. Your job is to protect your children, and that includes protecting them from each other. So if the conflict gets physical, the discussion is over. You separate them and deal with the consequences. You also need to step in when the fighting is just relentless and cruel. Severe name-calling, constant teasing that's really hurting one child's feelings. One kid always ganging up on the other. If you see a pattern where one child is always the victim and the other the aggressor, you have to get involved. That's not a fair fight. That's bullying. But what about the small stuff? The bickering over who gets the blue cup, the argument over what to watch on TV, the little squabbles that are annoying but not dangerous. For these, you need to learn to close the door, or put on some headphones. Give them a chance to figure it out on their own. If you jump in to solve every little problem, you're robbing them of a valuable learning opportunity. They need to practice negotiating, compromising, sometimes learning to just let things go. It might be loud and messy, but that's how they learn. Trust me, building a more peaceful home is a marathon, not a sprint. By setting clear rules, coaching them on their feelings, celebrating their teamwork, knowing when to let them work it out, you're giving them the tools they need. You got this. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Parents Journey to keep up to date for new content.